अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our daily morning discussion of Srimad Bhāgavatam, which is the most effective way of inviting Krishna in our hearts. In second canto of Srimad Bhāgavatam, in 8th chapter, shloka number 4, Parīkṣit Maharaj says to Shukadeva Goswami, Shunvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grunatascha Swacheshtitam कालेन नातिदीर्घेण भगवान विशति हृदि. Parikshit Maharaj gives 4 prescriptions for conditioned souls. So what do we have to do? He says, Shrunvata Shraddhaya Nityam. Hear Srimad Bhagavatam daily, regularly, Nityam. We also saw in previous chapters, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And second, he says, faithfully. Hear Srimad Bhagavatam faithfully, Shraddhaya. And not only that, Grunatascha Swachestitam. So, Grunatascha means accepting. So, one should receive the message of Srimad Bhagavatam and implement those principles in one's personal life. And Grunatascha Swachestitam. Swachestitam means one's own endeavor. One should also put their own efforts, endeavor, chesta, in taking notes, studying Bhagavatam, memorizing shlokas of Bhagavatam. So, and then we will make the best out of our hearing of Bhagavatam study. And then what will happen? Shunvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grunatascha Swacheshtitam. So, if you do this, Kalena Nati Dirghena Bhagavan Vishate Hridhi. So, without much delay, Kalena na ati dirghena, that Supreme Lord Krishna enters our heart. And Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. And when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, when those sound vibrations enter our ears, it is Krishna who is entering our ear holes. And through our ear holes, he will enter our heart and he will enter our life. So that's how we can invite Krishna in our life in the form of sound vibrations. And not only that, we should invite Krishna in our homes as well, in the form of the book Bhagavatam. So if any of you all still doesn't have a Bhagavatam set in your home, all you have to do is let us know, and we'll arrange and we'll bring Krishna in your home in the form of Bhagavatam set. So where were we yesterday? We were reading from Canto 1, Chapter 8, titled Prayers of Queen Kunti. Kunti Maharani is Krishna's aunt. She is Krishna's father, Vasudev's sister. So she is a personal associate of the Lord. And those who are the personal associates of the Lord, they know the Lord's tattva. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, he says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha yaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. One who understands my janma, my birth, and my karma, my activities, my lila, which are divya, transcendental. Janma karma cha me divyam. And one who knows them, evam yo vetti tattvataha. One who knows them as it is, tattvataha. Yaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamati surjina. That person, O Arjun, yaktva deham punarjanma naiti. That for that person, once he leaves his current gross body, there is no rebirth for him. He attains liberation. So, tattvataha is the key. So, tattva is the key. And to understand Krishna's Leela, one needs to understand Krishna Tattva. And Kunti Maharani, being personal associate of Krishna, she knows the Tattva, Krishna Tattva. So if one doesn't understand Tattva, then one cannot understand Krishna's Leela, and then they will question the Supreme Lord. Why Krishna did this and why he didn't do this, why did he allow this, like that. But Lord's true devotee, who is fully surrendered to the Lord, he accepts everything Lord does. He is a Tattvavetta. So Kunti Maharani is a Tattvavetta. In Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Geet Mala, there is a bhajan, Dhana Jana Deha, which is a statement about the dedication of a soul which is surrendered to Krishna. He says, Krishna ichha mate sab ghataya ghatana, tahe sukha dukha jnana avidya kalpana. So Krishna is causing all things to happen, and just according to his own sweet will. And all our ideas of happiness and distress, tahe sukha dukha, they are simply ignorant material mental concoctions, avidya kalpana. And then Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Jaha ichha kore Krishna, tai jano bhala, yajiya apana ichha, ghuchao janjala. Whatever Krishna's desire is, you must accept only that as your actual good. You must renounce apana ichha, all of your separate personal desires. And then you relieve yourself from the unnecessary bothersome, the janjal. So, and in the next stanza, there is beautiful lines. Deya Krishna, Neya Krishna, Pale Krishna Sabe, Rakhe Krishna, Mare Krishna, Ichha Kore Jabe. So Krishna gives you everything. Krishna takes everything away. Krishna maintains everyone or kills everyone whenever he likes and according to his own sweet will. So this is how a soul that is surrendered to Krishna deals with the good or bad, favorable or unfavorable events of their life. So back to Kunti Maharani's prayers. So there are total 26 shlokas that are offered as prayers to the Supreme Lord Krishna by Queen Kunti. So they started from verse 18, and so far we have seen 7 beautiful prayers. And out of which His Grace Viraj Krishna Prabhu asked us to do some swachestitam, some homework, to memorize the first 5 verses for now. I'll recite. Kuntya Uvacha Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrute Param Alaksyam Sarvabhutanam Antarbahir Swache Avasthitam Maya Javanika Channam Agnathokshajamayam Nalakshyase Mudadrisha Nato Natya Dharo Yatha Tatha Paramahansanam Muninam Atmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyemahi Striyam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Paramatma Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Namo Pankajanaಭಾಯ Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye. So this is a very important section of Srimad Bhagavatam because these prayers they embody the pinnacle of our Krishna conscious philosophy. These prayers have been recited, chanted, and sung by sages and Vaishnavas for thousands of years. And these prayers were very, very dear to our dear Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's disciple, Brahmananda Das, he wrote in Back to Godhead magazine how during the times of hardship and illness, even Srila Prabhupada himself turned to these prayers of Queen Kunti. So in 1966, even before founding ISKCON, during Srila Prabhupada's beginning times in New York, He had recorded himself singing these prayers, Queen Kunti's prayers. He had bought a tape recorder. He spent money equivalent to 1 month's rent at that time. And he got a tape recorder. And when no one was visiting him, when there was no one to preach to, he sang these prayers and recorded them. So it was very difficult time for Srila Prabhupada. He was living alone in New York. It was winter. There was no shower or kitchen in his apartment. So if he wanted to have a shower or cook, he had to walk 7 blocks to Dr. Mishra's apartment, come yoga studio. And he had to tolerate freezing cold and howling wind. Prabhupada did have an overcoat and a sweater, but his clothes were very thin, the ones he had bought from Vrindavan. So they were suited for hot tropical climate of India, but not for the New York winter. So it was very difficult time for Srila Prabhupada. And soon, June 1st, 1966, when Srila Prabhupada opened the very first ISKCON temple, which was just a storefront on 26 Second Avenue, Srila Prabhupada soon had to work even more harder. He had new disciples, and these new disciples had no idea how to serve spiritual master or his mission. Instead, they took service from him daily as Srila Prabhupada was training them in Krishna consciousness. So even a man half of Srila Prabhupada's age would be exhausted by so much work. But Srila Prabhupada was always full of energy and ready to do the needful for Lord Chaitanya's mission. So Srila Prabhupada was working very hard, single-handedly like that. And then in 1967, May 31, Srila Prabhupada had a stroke. It was a Memorial Day, public holiday. So most of the doctors were away for vacation. And Brahmananda said that they could not get even one doctor to come and treat Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada was having spasms and paralysis. So they didn't know what to do. And at that time, Srila Prabhupada requested 3 things. He said, put the picture of painting of Lord Narasimhadev, which was just completed. He wanted that placed in front of his view. And he asked devotees to chant Narasimhadev mantra and Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And all the devotees all day and night in New York temple, and there was another center in San Francisco, they were all chanting all day and night. And the third thing Srila Prabhupada asked was for Brahmananda to read these prayers of Queen Kunti from Srīmad Bhāgavatam to him. So Brahmananda struggled to pronounce Sanskrit words, but he did it. And later, in a letter, Srila Prabhupada wrote that just like Srimati Kunti Devi, when there was difficulty, she prayed to Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Not that when there is difficulty, I'll forget Krishna. No. Whatever the material condition may be, we should just cling to Krishna's lotus feet. That's what Srila Prabhupada wrote in his letter. So these words of Srila Prabhupada gives me so much faith that these prayers that we are learning now, they were so dear to Srila Prabhupada. And by Srila Prabhupada's blessings, we have the opportunity to recite these prayers. So each one of us should put our efforts, swachestitam, and try to memorize them, study them, and apply them. So in tomorrow's Sunday class at the temple, we will see the devotees if they have recited them. And at the end of class today as well, if there is time, we will do that. Let's go to our verse 24. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Verse 24. Vishan Mahagne Purushad Darshanat असत् सभाया वनवास कृच्छ्रतः मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चाश्महरेभिरक्षितः. Word to word. Vishat, from poison. Maha-agneha, from the great fire. Purushad, the man-eaters. Darshanad, by combating. Asat, vicious. Sabhaya, assembly. Vanavas, exiled to the forest. Vichadaha, sufferings. Mridhe, again and again in battle. Anek, many. Maharath, great generals. Ashrataha, Astrataha, weapons. Drauni, the son of Dronacharya. Astrataha, from the weapons of. Cha, and. Asma, indicating past tense. Hare, O my lord. Abhirakshita, protected completely. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Did anyone want to read the translation?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes, please.
Translation. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle, where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama.
Do you want to continue reading the purport as well?
Sure, Mataji. Purport. The list of dangerous encounters is submitted herein. Devaki was once put into difficulty by her envious brother. Otherwise, she was well. But Kunti Devi and her sons were put into one difficulty after another for years and years together. They were put into trouble by Duryodhan and his party due to the kingdom. And each and every time the sons of Kunti were saved by the Lord. Once Bhima was administered poison in a cake. Once they were put into the house made of a shellak and set afire. And once Draupadi was dragged out. And attempts were made to insult her by stripping her naked in the vicious assembly of the Kurus. The Lord saved Draupadi by supplying an immeasurable length of cloth, and Duryodhana's party failed to see her naked. Similarly, when they were exiled in the forest, Bhima had to fight with man-eater demon Hidimba Rakshasa, but the Lord saved him. So it was not finished there. After all these tribulations, there was the great battle of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna had to meet such great generals as Drona, Bhishma, and Karna, all powerful fighters. And at last, even when everything was done away with, there was the Brahmastra released by the son of Dronacharya to kill the child within the womb of Uttara. And so the Lord saved the only surviving descendant of the Kurus, Maharaj Parīkṣit. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, if we see the patterns of any prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam, we will see that first the devotee glorifies Krishna and then asks for service. There is no begging. There is no begging for one's own material needs. So, that's what we notice in Queen Kunti's prayers as well. From verse 18 to 22, she glorifies Krishna. From verse 23 that we saw yesterday, the previous verse, she starts recollecting how merciful the Lord has been upon her and her children. She's counting her blessings, as Viraj Krishna Prabhu yesterday rightly said. So in this shloka, shloka 24, she is continuing to remember how many more times Krishna has provided loving protection to them. She is expressing her exclusive dependence on Krishna and her thankfulness and gratitude towards Krishna's protection upon her and her sons. She says Vishan. Vishan means from poison. She is remembering the incident when her son Bhim was tried to be poisoned at a very young age. Duryodhan, Shakuni, all these people, they were always against the Pandavas, and once they wanted to kill Bhima when he was a very little boy. So Kunti Maharani says to Krishna, my dear Krishna, you have protected my son Bhim from that poison, Vishan. Then she says Mahagne, so from a great fire. So Queen Kunti is remembering the Lakshagriha incident. when Duryodhana and party, which was Duryodhana and party's attempt for the assassination of Pandavas along with Kunti. So they orchestrated things in such a way that Pandavas stay in a house made of Lakshagriha, which is highly inflammable. So they set fire to that house, but Pandavas managed to escape this house through an underground tunnel, and then they were sent to a safe place by a boatman sent by Vidura. Vidura was also a devotee of Lord Krishna. So Queen Kunti sees Lord Krishna's hand in this incident as well and shows her gratitude. And next she says Purushad Darshanad. And sometimes Pandavas were attacked by Purushad, man-eating demons, like Hidambasur. But somehow they were protected by Krishna's grace because Bhim could face them and he could kill them. And finally, she remembers Asat Sabha. Asat Sabha means very bad, malicious assembly. In the assembly where there was a big gambling match that happened between Pandavas and Duryodhana party. So in that Sabha, Draupadi was dragged by her hair by Dusashan. And Duryodhana he ordered Dusashan to disrobe Draupadi in front of everybody. So this was such a great insult towards a chaste woman and a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. And in that situation, when Draupadi was being insulted publicly, nobody could come forward to protect her. Yudhishthir Maharaj was there, powerful Bhim and Arjun were there, Bhishma, Drona, Dhritarashtra, all Draupadi's elders were there, and so many other great personalities were there, but nobody could protect Draupadi. That's why it was a Sat Sabha. And in that situation, only Krishna could protect her. Krishna came in the form of a sari and he protected her honor. So we need to understand that when every single force and every single power in the entire cosmic manifestation fails to protect, Krishna protects his devotees. So Krishna is not obliged towards anything. Nothing can stop him. So when Krishna wants to protect his devotee, wherever he or she is and whatever the situation is, he will protect. And then she remembers Vanvasa Krichataha. And in the gambling match, somehow all the property was taken by Duryodhana and party, and Pandavas were sent to forest, Vanvas Krichataha. And in Vanvas also they faced a lot of difficulties, and Krishna protected them from all these difficulties also. Mridhe Mridhe Anek Maharatha Astrato. And even in Kurukshetra war, so many Maharathis were sending so many powerful astras, weapons on Arjun. But because of Krishna's presence, these weapons could not harm Arjun. Arjun could even defeat his own guru Drona, his Pitamaha, his grandfather Bhishma, Karna, who was himself a great archer. And all of this was due to Krishna's grace. Kunti Maharani then says, Draunyas tatra shasma hare virakshitaha. And finally, Krishna even protected the last descendant of Pandavas, that is Parīkṣit Maharaj, who was within the womb of Uttara. So Droni, the son of Drona, Ashwasthama, he released Brahmastra to kill the little child within the womb of Uttara, and Krishna protected him also. And Kunti Maharani is expressing her heartfelt gratitude so many times, because so many times Krishna has very mercifully protected all of them. She says that you are the savior from all of them. You have sent all these problems and you only have saved us from all them. So this shloka, Shlok 24, it describes how grateful, how krutagna a devotee is. That's a quality a devotee gets from Krishna. Krishna is kritagna. He never forgets a service done to him. So the devotee is kritagna towards Krishna's protection. And this shloka also shows how attentive, how aware Krishna also is towards his devotees in difficulties. Let's go to the verse 25. Vipadah santutah shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsyad apunar bhavadarshanam. Word to word, vipada, calamities. Santu, let there be. All. Shashvat, again and again. Tatra, there. Tatra, and there. Jagadguru, O Lord of the universe. Bhavataha, your. Darshanam, meeting. Yat, that which. Syat, is. Apunaha, not again. Bhavadarshanam, seeing repetition of birth and death. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Actually, does anyone want to read the translation, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can do that.
Yes, Prabhu. Please go ahead.
I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths.
Here, Kunti Maharani is calling Krishna Jagat Guru, the spiritual master of the entire creation. And this prayer is a very strange prayer. What is Queen Kunti saying? She's saying, let all the calamities happen again and again. So Krishna is in front of her. Queen Kunti could have also asked him, enough is enough, Krishna. Stop testing my tolerance now. She could have given him the list of problems she has faced and asked him why you did this, why you did that, and why me. But instead she says, keep sending troubles my way. So why? Let's see. Who would like to read the purport? I'll have to request you to pause every now and then. Someone wants to volunteer?
I
can read one.
Okay, Mataji, please read.
Generally, the distressed, the needy, the intelligent, and the inquisitive who had performed some pious activities worship or begin to worship the Lord.
Can you please
Others,
pause, Mataji?
yes, yep.
So Srila Prabhupada is referring to Bhagavad Gita 7.16 here. He says to Arjun, Hey Bharatarshabha, O best among the Bharats, 4 kind of men begin to worship me. The verse goes like this: Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukrutino arjuna artha jignasuraartharthi gnani cha bharatarshabha. So 4 kind of men begin to worship Krishna. Artha, the distressed; Jignasu, the inquisitive; Artharthi, the one who desires wealth; and Gnani, the one who is searching for knowledge of the absolute truth. These 4 kind of people worship Krishna. Can you read further, Mataji?
Others who are thriving on the misdeeds only, regardless of status, cannot approach the Supreme due to being misled by the illusory energy. Therefore, for a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for the liberation from birth and death. Therefore, even there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remember the Lord, which means liberation.
Please pause there, Mataji. So this prayer seems strange at first glance, but it's very natural for a devotee. Calamity means a time when we take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. And constant calamities in your life mean constant remembrance of the lotus feet of the Lord throughout your life. And what does it mean? This means that you will remember the Lord in your last moment as well, which means liberation, no more birth and death. Because Krishna says, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra sanshaya. In Bhagavad Gita 8.5 he says that. So for a devotee, calamities means calamities is equal to liberation. No more birth and death. Can you read further, Mataji?
One who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of nations, can achieve liberation as easily as one leaps over the holes made by the hoofs of a calf. Such persons are meant to reside in the abode of the Lord, and they have nothing to do with the place where there is a danger in every step.
Thank you, Mataji. So here as well, this section that Mataji just read, here Srila Prabhupada is referring to a very beautiful shloka we learned not long ago in 10th canto. It goes like this: Samashritaye padapallavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavan buddhirpat sapadam param padam yat vipadanatesham. So Samashritaye padapallavaplavam, for those who have accepted the boat of lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the entire cosmic manifestation. Their goal is Parampadam, Vaikuntha, the place where there are no kunthas, material miseries. Mahat Padam Punya Yasho Murare. And for them, the ocean of the material world is like, how much water is contained in a calf's hoof print. Bhavam budhir vatsa padam param. And they don't belong in the place where there is danger at every step. Padam padam yad vipadana tesham. So Srila Prabhupada, in a lecture, he gave an example. He said that, see, if you are on the ocean, you might have very strong ship, very safe ship, but that is not true safety, because you are on the sea. At any time there can be dangers. So Srila Prabhupada was giving this lecture in Los Angeles, and he gave an example of Titanic to the audience. He said that everything was safe, but on the first voyage it was drowned, and all important men of your country, they lost their life. So danger will be there because you are in a dangerous position. Waves will come because you are in the sea. So don't be scared of the waves. Just figure out how to cross over the ocean. And similarly, as long as we are in this material world, there must be dangerous calamities, because this is the place of calamities. So our business is, even within these calamities, how we develop our Krishna consciousness, and after giving up this body, how we go back home, back to Krishna. So further, Prabhupada says that this material world is certified by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita as a dangerous place full of calamities. Where does Krishna certify material world as a dangerous place? In Bhagavad Gita 8.15, he says, Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gatam. So this material world is dukkhalayam, the place which is full of miseries. And which miseries? Janma mrityu jara vyadhi, birth, death, old age and disease. And it is ashashvatam, temporary. But there is a way out. And what is it? Mam upetya. After attaining me, Mahatma, the great souls, punarjanma napnuvanti, there is no rebirth for them, because samsiddhim paramam gatam, because they have attained the highest perfection. Mataji, do you want to read the last bit from less intelligent persons?
Sorry, Mataji. So last paragraph you said?
Less intelligent persons prepare plans.
Less intelligent persons prepare plans to address those calamities without knowing that the nature of this place is itself full of calamities. They have no information of the abode of the Lord, which is full of bliss and without trace of calamity. The duty of the sane person, therefore, is to undisturbed by worldly calamities, which are sure to happen in all circumstances. Suffering all sorts of unavoidable misfortune, one should make progress in spiritual realization, because that is the mission of the human life.
Thank you. Sorry, Mataji. So this is what a less intelligent person does. What does an intelligent person do? We learned this prayer in 10th canto, 14th chapter, 8th sloka as well. Tattenukampam susamikshmano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam vidvagvapubhir vidadhan namaste jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhav. So devotee who is more intelligent, that's why Srila Prabhupada says Queen Kunti is the most intelligent woman. Because a devotee, Tattenukampa susamikshmano, he earnestly waits for the anukampa, the causeless mercy of the Lord. While he bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam, he patiently suffers the reactions of his past mistakes. And while suffering, what does he do? Vidvak vapubhir vidadhan namaste, he offers obeisances with his heart, body, and his words. So such a person, jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhak, such a person is a true rightful claimer of the liberation. No, Arjuna asked Krishna, that I understand whatever you are saying, that I'm not this body, and my guru, my grandfather, my relatives, they are also not the body I'm going to kill. I know when my grandfather is dying, he's just changing his body, but I'm attached to that body and that cover, that calaver. So I am accustomed to think like that. So how can I not have grief when I see their body dying? So Krishna replied that that's a fact. So then you must tolerate. There is no other remedy. So in Bhagavad Gita 2.14, Krishna says, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama payino nitya stam titikshva bharata. What appears as happiness and distress, it will disappear in due course, just like the seasons, shitoshna, winter, summer, like that. And they will, and they are matra sparshastu, they arise from the sense perception. And O Bharat, O Kaunteya, O Arjun, tam stitikshava, you just learn to tolerate it. Last bit, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, the spirit soul is transcendental to all material calamities. Therefore, the so-called calamities are called false. A man may see a tiger swallowing him in a dream, and he may cry for this calamity. Actually, there is no tiger, and there is no suffering. It is simply a case of dreams. In the same way, all calamities of life are said to be dreams. If someone is lucky enough to get in contact with the Lord by devotional service, it is all gain. Contact with the Lord by any of the 9 devotional services is always a forward step on the path going back to Godhead. We'll end with a very sweet shloka King Kulshekhara says in Mukundmala Stotram. Alam alam alameka praninam patkanam nirasana vishayeya Krishna Krishneti vani yadi bhavati mukunde bhaktirananda sandra karatala kalita samoksha samrajya lakshmi. Just the words Krishna 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 by themselves, they are enough. Alam alam alam, to eradicate all the sins of living beings. Yadi bhavati mukunde bhakti ananda sandra, and one who has bhakti, devotion for Mukunda, Krishna, he is densely infused with ecstasy, ananda sandra. And karatala kalitasa moksha samrajya lakshmi, in his palms of the hands, he holds the gift of liberation, samrajya, worldly influence, and Lakshmi, wealth. So, apologies again for going over time. Granthra Srimad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a very blissful Krishna conscious day, and please join us this evening, 5 p.m. Onwards at the Hare Krishna Temple, Burbank, for our Saturday Love Feast program. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much,
Hare Krishna
Mataji. Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Bol.